Hello, everyone. How are you doing? I hope you are doing well. Welcome in to episode 4 of Fate of Cthulhu, The Return of Carcosa. I say it like that because it makes it seem more dangerous, uh, you know, or not. I don't know. I'm not the boss of you. Um, Hi, welcome, and I want to thank you for being here. We're on Weave the Tale, which is a channel that has doing lots of really cool and neat stuff, and I'm very happy to be here with an amazing cast, and we are here to tell amazing stories with each other and for you. I thought I would give some information first. The first thing I want to say is a little bit of a disclaimer. We here as a crew, we are using 3 different methods of safety tools, and we use those safety tools. By the way, Party Wipe Games, I just want to thank you for those gift subs. And actually, I feel like I should not be thanking you for those gift subs. I feel like the players should be thanking you for those gift subs because that's going to have a very big impact on our players, and they might need them right about now. So we will we will talk about this when we get there. I just wanted to say they're doing amazing things here, and we have got uh, 3 different safety tools. We talked about lines and veils and things that we want to have before we started, so we all were on the same page, so we knew that we were going to do safe things. We also have okay check-in in our personal chat, where we can just check in with each other to make sure that we're okay. So for example, if the scene's kind of intense, we can be like, hey, how you doing? And everyone's like, I'm doing great. Or like, ooh, slow down. We also have the green card, the red card, and the yellow card, which you would see, and we can throw that if we just want to kind of throw that out there, like, hey, keep going, it's really great. Or like, ooh, slow down for yellow. Or like, let's retcon this, we need to stop for red, for example. And that keeps us all able to do a really good horror game and make sure that we're having a horrible time in the best way, not the worst way. And I do want to sort of give a disclaimer for you all. The King in Yellow, as a great old one, the themes of the King in Yellow is obsession and also plague. So we're dealing with a story where in the timeline there has been a number of pandemics of hemorrhagic fever, but actually it's something supernatural. And so if you're in a space where thinking about plagues is a bit distressing, please feel free to take a bit of space to sort of step back, make sure you take care of yourself and your mental health, and we will always be here. And, that's how that is. I would also like to say, I'd like to thank our sponsors. We have a number of sponsors. They're great. We have the sponsor, the people who are actually running most of them are the people who've made the games that we're playing. So we have, for this season, we have Christopher Gray, who's done the Great American Witch, Broken Dice, which has done the Naudon Chronicles, Black Void Games, which has done Black Void, Mighty Narwhal, which has done Mora, Smunchy Games, which has done Parslings, which is on Thursdays, Araucana Media, which is doing Nibiru, Evil Hat Productions, which is doing Fate of Cthulhu. And I would like to point out my hat is not evil. This is a friendly hat, maybe. And you should definitely check out all of those games. If you enjoy what you're seeing, check them out. We also have 2 major sponsors. We have Grinding Coffee, which is a Black LGBT plus owned coffee business, which also delivers to you, so you do not have to leave your house and risk the wrath of the King in Yellow or seeing the yellow sign. So if you are interested, go there. They will keep you awake and they'll keep you happy, and they will ship to your house. And if you use our affiliate link, which is being put out there in chat, you can get a 10% discount if you use Penny for a Tale. Also, we are affiliated with Dungeons and Dice. And if you want dice, which you might want because they will help you when you're in danger by rolling the dice and then you win and then you escape. If you do that, you can go to them over at dicedungeons.com. And also you can use Penny for a Tale for 10% off. And if you're not playing a game right now, but you just like to hoard them, then also that's fine too. I feel like hoarding special polyhedrons, which might be non-Euclidean, to help you give insight into the universe is never a bad thing. Other Doc does not agree. But speaking of Other Doc, I would like to introduce our players. Maybe some of these players are concerned about the health of their other characters. Other Doc, could you tell us, please, who you are, who you're playing, and at this moment, right when we're about to go live, I'm going to set the scene because I have a question for you. At this moment, we're in the apartment that Hayley lives in over in Venice, California. And Jack was about to climb out the window to do a little bit of burglary to find out what's going on in this bedroom. But the person in the bedroom stepped out, and you have Hayley and another Hayley looking at each other. Tall Hayley has a gun. Bloody Hayley is covered in blood. So that'll be fine. And then downstairs, John has just sort of come out of this dream space, had a bloody dagger. Exciting that Elaine knows all too well. It's the dagger that she and her colleague used to do these rituals, which sent people back in time, but that dagger's from the future. And so everybody's in a bit of a space. And so the question I would like to ask you, besides who you are and who you're playing, is, sorry. The last thing that was said was Tall Hayley said, I'm sorry, Jack, and pulled out the gun. So I'm very excited. So who you are, who you're playing, and tell me, what is your character thinking at this very moment? That's what I want to know.
Greetings. I'm just waiting now for those D-infinities to come out any day now. I'm Jim. I go by he/him pronouns, and today I am playing Jack Vasily, who also goes by he/him pronouns. He is a cat burglar, or actually just a master thief, really. Who does runs a lot of different kinds of jobs. Also has a history of being a stage magician, who is one of the folks who's come back in time to try to stop the King in Yellow. And at present, I believe the thing that he was thinking, as I said last time, his first thought on seeing this, the two Hayleys, one now producing a pistol, is that this reminds him of a lot of a trick that they used to do, which he called the double indemnity trick, where he would have one performer on stage and appear to be shot by a second performer who is identical in appearance. And sometimes that was him, sometimes that was an assistant. It just sort of varied as the things were going on. And so of course the thing that he's thinking is, crap, it's damn double indemnity trick again. And the specifics of it really depend on where the gun is pointing, actually, as to what his more immediate thought would be with respect to that. But it probably it's a prelude to a thing, and it probably starts with ready and then I have to know which way the gun is pointing before I know what comes after and.
Yeah. Did somebody here have a consequence? I feel like somebody got a consequence last time. Is that true? Am I remembering correctly? Somebody check your character sheet, because I feel like maybe I just made that up. But let's go across. Let's go down to the person who has the gun. Jackie Dash, who are you? Who are you playing? And then just pick one of the Hayleys that we're seeing and let me know what that Hayley's thinking. But which one? It's unclear. Drink the lemonade. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Jackie Dash on Twitch and Twitter, and I'm Claudia in, I guess, the real space. My pronouns for both are she, her, and I'm playing Hayley Howler Rogers, Fitsona, Instagram persona, and now an investigator that's going to make your best top 10 horror lists, like 10 places you don't want to be at night. So that's the next one that's coming out.
Wait, what's the number 7 place you don't want to be at night?
Top number 7, under your bed. Other than dust bunnies, you've got scarier things to deal with.
I need to see this. I just need to see these videos. But go on. What is one of your Hayleys thinking right now?
One of my Hayleys is thinking it's very cold and pain, just pain, which I don't know what. Yeah, just pain, a soreness in all the limbs, and exhaustion, and the feeling of your body reacting to something that you can't see. It's like being thrown in water that just has something you're slightly allergic to.
All right. Let's go. So now, one of the Haleys, Naked Hayley, Bloody Hayley, had this bloody knife, but that bloody knife is no longer in Bloody Hayley's hands because it was pulled out of this sort of dream space by none other than John, played by Wild Engineer. Who are you? Tell us who you're playing, and then, give us what John is thinking right now.
Yes, hi, hello. I am Wild, at Wild Engineer, he, they pronouns. I am playing John Robinson. He is an average Joe who actively dreamwalks. And, he just got out of a dream, or maybe he's still in the dream. Maybe it doesn't even matter at all which is which. And right now he's thinking, oh God, I need to stop Hayley. Thank God I got her knife. Yes.
I think it was Hayley who had a consequence. I think, yeah.
I have a mental consequence. It's already marked on my character sheet. I don't think it refreshes.
Yeah. So, Lydia, voice of Lydia, could you? No, don't do it yet, because we'll do it when we talk about in one moment. I want to get you gave this knife to someone who is somebody that you trust. You gave this knife to Elaine, played by Sour Fruit Junkie. Who are you? Who are you playing? And what is your character thinking at this moment?
Hello, I'm Steph. She, her pronouns. Sour Fruit Junkie on the internet. I am playing Elaine Chen, who is a archaeologist from the future who has a lot of guilt, which is not going to be a problem in the story about going into the past and fixing things. Not at all. Not at all. What is she thinking? Oh shit! I think it was like, this knife. I could do so much.
Yeah.
It's like,
you
I could do
could.
so much with this knife. I could do so much with this knife.
You could. And there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing bad about it.
It helps make the bad things not happen.
It's true. I will say you can think of that knife as a sort of like, you could think of it as a corrupted aspect, a corrupted stunt, but you don't have to, because anything you would use with it is going to give you corruption anyway. So, it's just, yeah, it's fine. It's fine. And I am Trooper SJP. Yeah, it's a free gift. It's a free gift. And I am your GM for today, and I'm very happy to be here, and I'm very excited to tell these stories with you all. But I need to tell you about the donations before we start. So there are 4 donations. Well, actually, there's one. You can do retweets. That's a big thing. You can do retweets. We have a live tweet, which is out there on the internet. And if you retweet it and we get 20 retweets, and we are currently at 18, by the way, then the players will get something positive, something good will happen for them. But if you feel like, that you think that I don't get enough love and you worry about me and my feelings, you could get to 20 retweets and then I get something good. Otherwise known as something super bad for them. That's exciting. And then if you feel guilty about giving me something good, then you can get to 40 retweets and give them something good yet again. So at 20, 30, and 40, we have some boons and banes. For every 5 subs, we will get a special group fate point that they can use to help themselves out and to sort of do some things. And as a matter of fact, we just got a bunch of subs that came out, and if Lydia would let me know how many there are that came in, then I can sort of pull out some of those fate points for them, which they may need. Who knows? That is a possibility. And then, of course, there are our donations. We have our own special donation models here. For $5, you can donate, and if you do, we will create an aspect, and that aspect is something in the scene or the situation that can help them or hurt them. And so far, we've actually had aspects donated by Kitchen Bratlin, which have become our titles for the episode. So that's pretty exciting as well. And so if you do that, and it could be anything like the room is on fire, that could be an aspect, or full of confidence, things like this that can help them out, or I don't know, marbles on the floor. Who knows? For $10, you can help a player remove a consequence. One player can remove a consequence. So these consequences are sort of like, if you run out of consequence slots, you probably die. And if you would, dearest Lydia, in the ether, in the sky, we have a character right now who has a consequence. Hayley has one consequence, which is represented by a skull right there, just right up over there, big old skull. They only have 3 consequence slots total, by the way. And once those 3 are filled up, if they have to take another one, then, well, you know, it's not great. But she has one. For $10, one consequence can be shifted down. And for $15, we can turn back time, which is a song by Cher. And if you notice, our lovely players, 2 of them, have some corruption. John has 2, and Elaine currently has 1. And if they hit 4, well, bad things happen to them. They slowly become corrupted and become like the great old one. They get power, which if they use, they can become more productive. But like, they can help save the world with it. It's great. And currently, we have some people with corruption. And for $15, one player can turn back one of the corruption clock by 1. Those are our main 3 donations. And we have one last one, which is a one-time only donation. If somebody wanted to give $100, that would be a miracle. And that is the Elder Sign, which will protect them in some way. And at one point in time, one time only for the entire campaign, they can use it for something spectacular to help them out of a jam. Probably stop people from dying or something terrible. It won't stop the great old one, but it can help. So those are all of our donations. And I believe that should be everything we have. So let us begin. When we last left our crew, Jack was half out of a window. Hayley and Hayley were looking at each other. One had a gun. One did not have clothing, but was covered in blood. So, you know, still modest. And downstairs we had Elaine and John, and they were sort of recognizing that there was this mysterious dagger that has shown up from the future. And we're going to go into a conflict right now because that is sort of where we're at. And the person who gets to act first is the person who initiated this situation, and that would be Tall Hayley, who pulled out a gun and said, "I am so sorry." And I'm going to ask you, what do you want to do?
Great question. I think Tall Hayley is going to keep the gun up and is going to make a rapport roll.
Okay.
The goal of the rapport roll is to get Jack to call for John.
Ooh. Okay. I see how this is. This is going to be This is an attack, is what this is. Now, I have a house rule that I do, and in Fate in general, there's one skill you can use for a social attack, and that's provoke. But there are 2 you can use for physical combat, that's shoot and fight, and I like a parallelism where you have both shoot and fight and then provoke and that other one is rapport. That's the good cop versus the bad cop. Rapport is when you want to, you know, convince people in a nice way, maybe also with a gun in your hand. And then
That's
provoke is the less nice way. Yeah. So if you might make the roll and then tell me what you say.
Okay. Do you mind if I tell you what I say first? That way we can see if it's an actual rapport versus an intimidate, or the nomenclature in this one.
Sure.
I believe Tall Hayley is going to look Jack in the eye, holding the gun up, Jack halfway through that window, and say, "I'm sorry, Jack. You need to get John up here. Call for him. No funny business."
Yeah, that does not sound like a rapport. That sounds like a provoke.
Yeah.
It sounds like you're not being a good cop there. That's not what it sounds like to me. Go ahead.
Okay. That's fair. That is fair. So I assume I don't get do I get the bonus because the gun's out? Just gonna throw that out there.
You can spend a fate point to get +2 because you have a gun. Right? Because that gun is an aspect which you can then use to justify spending a fate point.
I will do that.
I'm gonna just keep a note, by the way, of how many fate points you spend. I'm just gonna take a note for no particular reason. Just.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Roll your provoke. 2. would you like to spend a fate point to make that a 4? You don't have to yet because our Jack is going to have to roll will to defend.
I'm going to keep it as fair.
Will?
I know how these rolls go.
Yeah. Well, let's see how we do.
Will.
Mediocre.
Okay. So let's have a quick discussion. At this point in time, she's told you. Would either one of you like to spend fate points to increase those rolls?
So I think in order for me to... can you explain briefly how ties work? Because if I spend a fate point, that's currently what we're looking at if I don't decide to reroll.
If it's a tie, she will not be able to do any will damage on you, but she will get a boost that she can use to help next time.
Gotcha. Okay. Let me see.
In a non-threatening way.
Well, yeah, I've got a... I definitely think that I have an applicable thing here where I can spend a fate point on once again it's actually the relationship aspect that technically I have with Elaine, but I've made it sort of a general thing. You conjure to keep others from my personal cliff edge. This looks like there is a definite motion toward trying to harm someone. Let me actually just briefly double check. Is the gun pointed at me, or is the gun pointed at other Hayley, or is the gun just out? Just so I know how I'm reacting here.
Sorry. The gun is pointed at Jack.
Okay.
In the chestal region.
Gotcha. All right. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend a fate point to try to get a reroll on this. Just to give it a shot. And that'll be conjuring to keep others from my personal cliff edge. It's like, you really don't want to kill, you don't want to, what are you doing? Why are you trying to, basically is sort of the don't try to kill people, it's not worth it type deal.
Go on.
And
also, if you want to spend a fate point, Hayley, you can also, because you have a gun, you can do that too. And I just would like to see how this conversation goes. And by the way, you can just keep escalating and spending all those fate points each time if you like.
Oh, sure.
Until you guys decide you're done with that. Go on.
Yeah. As I see it, even worst case scenario, if we'll see how this goes. So basically having that out, and I'm just like, just sort of looking at the two, and just sort of very briefly, because I'm imagining this happening very quickly, and I'm just like, are you sure you want to do that? And I'm going to go ahead and re-roll. And if I may. And we'll see if it does any good. Nope.
Ooh. Tasty.
Well, we tried.
Go ahead. Try to convince her not to do that. Go ahead. I want to see how this happens.
No, I mean, I figure what I said wasn't very convincing, but it's just basically, I'm just sort of like, so he's just sort of as you're just sitting there, just kind of looking at the gun halfway out the window. And he's just like, what? You can't be serious.
Would you like to spend a fate point, Hayley, to increase that roll of yours? I mean, you can, if you want.
That's not a bad idea, but I'm sitting pretty at 3. I'm 3 ahead. I'm doing great.
All right. Dearest Jack, please take 3 mental stress.
Yay.
Just.
I've not taken stress before. How does this work? Do I just
tick off the boxes? You have like yeah, you've got on your character sheet, you'll have
that's done.
Just, how much do you have left, by the way?
I have 1.
How much? 1 mental stress. Interesting. Cool.
Yes.
Hey, Tall Hayley. Cool. Who would you like to give it to next? Because we do in Fate, that you do popcorn initiative, where you choose who goes next, and everybody gets to have one before it comes around again. And who would you like to go next?
Can I ask one question before I make that choice?
Of course.
I know that originally from the downstairs they heard "I'm sorry, Jack." Now,
Yes.
if Goth Hayley say it quiet enough that Jack's the only one that hears, so that they don't actually know that's happening?
Yeah, that's fine. Yes.
Then I'm going to send it to John, knowing that.
John, hey, what would you like to do right now? Like this knife has come out. Everything seems like things are a little bit weird because you had this whole vision of, bloody Haley creeping out of this bedroom, coming down the stairs, and then trying to stab John. And then John went upstairs to sort of investigate because you heard something with Haley. And so you had this dream and you sort of come out of it. What do? John and Haley are upstairs investigating the sound.
Well, first I would hand off the knife to Elaine and be like, hey, could you hold this for me? I don't know if I'd be able to, but I don't know why, but I think the other Haley is here, and we need to stop her.
Okay, we're gonna be okay, but remember, the dreams do lie. You are, in the end, you're the one who's in control. We've got this. And Elaine will take the knife, kind of wrap it up.
She's covered in blood, and she has 4 eyes.
And as I show my palms, John, you told me this. You told me that the dreams lie. You told me that
And there
you
are
could
these
see little slits open up. I remember in the future, you told me what it was like. That you would see things, that you would see all possibilities in all truth, in all forms. But in the end, what mattered the most was how we acted with it. And so she puts her gloves back on, holds your hands, says, I'm trusting you. We're gonna get through this. We need to do this together.
I feel like you both have made rapport rolls with each other to create an advantage, is what I think has just happened there. So could you both make a rapport roll, please? This is about the power of friendship, is what this is. Okay. So here's what this means. Elaine, that's nice what you said, but I don't know how much that impacted him. But he has made you feel better. He has made you feel more resolved, or perhaps the situation, you feel more resolved in this situation. And what that means, my friend, is that you're going to get an advantage. You're going to get an advantage, which we're going to call full of resolve, I think we'll call it. And this is an advantage which you can use at some point in time if you need resolve. This will be there for you because of the power of friendship. You know that this is somebody who's important to you. You know what I mean? And you are resolved, I think, to help John. And this is something that you can use instead of a fate point, or in addition to, if you need it. Who do you pass it to, Elaine? You've got Jack, and then you've got Bloody Haley.
Oh, does John still have the initiative, or?
I think he passed it to you, right? That he made his roll and passed it to you, and that was your rapport back to him. Yeah.
Cool.
And you also can both move as well as well.
So there's a thump, and I'm assuming that I think we both want to begin investigating, right? Together. This new power, the new power of friendship to go together into the dark upstairs where there is a mysterious thump and nothing good comes out of that. So we're going to go together.
And together, friends, you both creep up the stairwell, and you see at the head of the stairs, as you're approaching, you see your Hayley, tall Hayley, with a gun, looking and facing another Hayley, who's not as tall, but covered in blood, also naked. And tall Hayley's pointing the gun off to the side you cannot see where, but down the hallway. And I will ask you, who would you like to pass this off to? Sourfruit Junkie, would you like it to go to Bloody Hayley or Jack, who you cannot see?
Chaos, chaos, give it to Bloody Hayley.
Jackie Dash, would you mind playing Bloody Hayley right now?
This is Bloody Hayley. So Bloody Hayley comes out of the dark door. I'm assuming it's dark. Maybe she was in the dark, so she's now in the light, and vision is hard. And I'm going to try to create an aspect where short Hayley's just trying to push tall Hayley. If she's pushed down the stairs, great. But let's just do a push.
Yes, please do. Do that. You should push tall Hayley. This will be fighting.
Okay, do I roll it twice?
Roll it once as Bloody Hayley. Just let's see how this goes. That's a 1. Tall Hayley should now roll athletics to dodge.
Okay.
Let's see how that goes. And I'm going to ask you some questions about fate points. Okay. All right, I'm going to ask you a question before we resolve this. I just want to know, Bloody Hayley, would you like to spend a fate point on your roll, on your fight roll? I mean, you may not have to because this is really good right now. You're beating her by 4, which is really all you need at that moment. But tall Hayley, would you like to spend a fate point?
Tall Hayley will use a fate point. Tall Hayley is going to reroll.
Wait, tall Hayley, you just rolled academics. You should have rolled athletics. You have to re-roll that.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
No, you do not dodge with academics. What is that? No. Athletics.
I was trying to calculate. Yeah, Let me try this. My bad.
Okay. Yes. So Bloody Hayley is beating tall Hayley by 1.
Much
tall
better.
Hayley, would you like to spend a fate point to maybe not get knocked down?
Yes, I would.
I see.
I will use
what
1
aspect?
Point. I will not reroll.
What aspect? I'm going to ask Jackie Dash to do amazing things right now.
I think in a moment, Bloody Hayley is shoving tall Hayley, and Bloody Hayley gets to peek underneath the pair of huge sunglasses. And as she does, she sees not 1 tear run, but 3 separate tears run down her cheek. And I think she is unnerved, and I think tall Hayley is using her unnerving looks often lead to her finding the way.
Yeah. Bloody Hayley comes at tall Hayley, peeks under the sunglasses, starts getting super freaked out. Does Bloody Hayley want to spend a fate point to try to overcome that? I mean, I want to... You're in a pitched battle with each other right now, grappling each other.
Yes. I think Bloody Hayley will, in fact, using her trouble ability to drive clicks. You need to be over the top and first on the scene, and I think Hayley's going to be over the top and just shove harder.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm thinking we're going to keep that 1 bonus. I don't know if it does a huge aspect, but we've used lots of fate.
Okay. Bloody Hayley has used a total of 2 fate points right now. No, I'm sorry. Tall Hayley has used 2, and Bloody Hayley has used 1. Are you good with this situation?
I
All right.
am. As Bloody Hayley, I am.
So, Bloody Hayley knocks down Tall Hayley, right? Tall Hayley is pushed, hits her head, is down on the ground, is down and disoriented. I believe you would have to pass it to Jack.
And I think Bloody Hayley will pass it to Jack with that. I'm hoping that aspect is a free to use aspect of disorientated.
It is. Yes, it is. And I'm going to put it on your map. So at this moment, Tall Hayley is on the ground and disoriented, and that will stay there until she can undisorient herself. Jack, you just saw Bloody Hayley in a pitched battle with Tall Hayley, knock her to the ground, hitting her head. And what do you do?
I think that the best course of action here would be to try to get the gun, if at all possible. If that's an obtainable thing.
Oh, it is certainly an obtainable thing. It's what you would just say is creating an advantage, right? That you have the gun. So I would say this is going to be either, depending how you want to do it, athletics, right? If you're trying to like snatch it out, or it could be fight. You have your choice. Like, it depends on like how you feel like you would go about doing it.
So, yeah, I feel like there would be some kind of, and obviously this is exactly, I mean, it's not like I'd be using any different stats for this probably, or at least as far as the numbering goes here, I'm thinking. But I imagine there's some kind of distracting technique you would try to use to try to like get you to pay attention to the other hand. Basically, while sort of that thing where it's like you tap and basically I imagine sort of leaping from the window, jumping forward, sort of shouting on, say if Tall Jackie right-handed or left-handed? I'm just curious.
They're both right-handed.
They're both right-handed. Okay, so coming up kind of on the left, sort of tapping the shoulder, like, hey.
And remember,
and then using the
Tall
using
Hayley's
the right
on the
hand.
ground.
Yes.
Tall Hayley's on the ground, knocked down.
Yes, and so yeah, obviously I'm coming. It's I'm still sort of above when this is happening. Yeah, which sort of tapping on the left side whilst still sort of a little behind, using the right hand to pull the gun out, to grab the gun, basically.
Make your roll. Fight, I would say, perhaps.
Now, I was hoping I could do this either with. Could I use deceive, perhaps? As this is a thing where I'm trying to.
That would be a stunt that you would need to do that would allow you to use deceive instead of fight.
I understand. Okay. Well, then I should not have. I should not have attempted that technique then.
Which would be a good stunt for you to use, by the way. You could get one of those stunts.
That would be an interesting idea. So let's chat for a second then. If that's the verdict, let's chat. Let's talk about how potential. You mentioned athletics earlier. I'm curious if that would just be more of a grapple-y type deal.
Well, that's still fight though. Fighting is still grappling. You might be able to use physique, but I think she's disoriented and you have a bunch of fate points. You're going to have to use all of your source of will to sort of like power through this, and hopefully, in her disoriented state, it will be okay.
All right. Well, we'll attempt to. I tried to litigate it. I'll try to roll fight then, and we'll do it. We'll see. My fighting is terribly mediocre, as everyone's about to find out. All right. Here we go.
You never know.
No, we know.
-3. Tall Hayley, would you roll athletics, please? To try to, avoid getting your gun stolen from you.
Do I have any negative? Is it -2 from the disorientation?
They get to choose if they want to use it. You're just there, and if they want to use that against you, which I imagine they do, then So here's the thing. I do not recommend using that disoriented right now. Tall Hayley, as you go to grab, like she's a little bit confused, as you go to grab this gun from her, her fingers elongate and have this vice grip on the gun, and you cannot pull it out of her hands at all, in a way that seems unnatural and perhaps distressing. Who would you like to give it to?
Okay, then. Let's see.
It's these fingers are not normal.
I'm going to. I think
And
I'm
you do
actually
see,
going
as you
to
move
Go
forward,
ahead.
you see Elaine and John at the stairs.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I'm actually just going to kind of look up and briefly call down a little help here. I'm going to toss it to Elaine.
Elaine, you have seen this transpire. Bloody Hayley isn't this like grappling with Tall Hayley, knocks Tall Hayley down. Tall Hayley's disoriented. Jack comes tearing out from down the hallway, tries to grab this gun, and as Jack grapples with the gun, Tall Hayley's fingers just sort of elongate over the grip of the pistol.
What's Bloody Hayley doing right now? I'm curious. Like, she just standing there. What's the presence that I'm getting from this moment?
Have you ever like ridden the Gravitron 4 times? The Gravitron's a children's ride, it's what they call it, where you lay against the wall and they spin you in something.
Where you're a test tube in a centrifuge, you just, that's the ride? Yeah, the centrifuge ride, yeah.
Yeah, the centrifuge rides. Bloody Hayley looks like she's done that a couple times, and in between each one had a round of Jaeger shots. So a lot of just tilting, looking between things, and those Jaeger shots probably had some energy consumption item to them. Possibly gasoline, more probably caffeine.
And I know what it's like to have traveled through time.
You do? You do.
So,
That is true. And one thing you know about traveling through time is that you may not have anything on you that is not, you cannot have clothes or items. When you travel through time naked. That is a thing you know.
Yeah, interesting. Okay. So that's player knowledge. It's like I'm just like trying to think of what Elaine would do. Elaine, I think, would trust that Jack wants to stop this, and that Tall Hayley is a problem right now, and trying to prevent her from using that gun is most important at the moment. Can I? So she's down and knocked out. Is there? Oh,
she's not. She's disoriented. How is your fight?
it's mediocre.
It's mediocre.
But it's mediocre. However, I want to try and knock her out to kind of resolve the situation and just kind of like cause a pause, because this whole thing has just been snowballing with Tall Hayley trying to make us do things. Did not like that. I need a pause to figure out and analyze what the heck is happening. I would like to try to knock her out with the hilt of the dagger just to hit her to knock her out.
Okay. So this is going to be a fight, is what this is. This is a fight check, and you're attacking her. I would like you to roll. And then I'm going to ask you a question afterwards, once we see how this goes.
Ooh,
I'm going to just
average.
ask you a question.
Okay.
Can I get an athletics from Tall Hayley, please?
Ooh.
Okay.
Can I invoke the disorient?
Yes, you can. That brings you to a 3. I will tell you, you would like to get much higher. You would like to get very, very big numbers is what you'd like.
Okay, interesting.
You want very big numbers because you want to be able to blow through her stress. She has to take consequences.
Okay.
That knife is going to give you another +1. to bring
Okay,
you to
cool.
a
And then I
4.
would, so I could use and I would just expend fate points for both of those things.
Well, the disoriented is
knife?
free because
Okay.
Bloody Haley put that aspect on her, so that's a free for you.
Okay.
Um,
Cool.
So that's free.
And then that's free.
You could spend fate points to get it higher. Also, you have your resolve, which you could also spend.
I think I would hang on to the resolve. I have a aspect for determined, and I feel that I'm determined to be in more control of this whole situation, and I would like to spend my fate point to invoke that aspect, add another +2 to that.
That's a 6 versus her 1.
Maybe I will have to use this thing. And then you said the knife will give me a +1. Is that already included?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's you get a +1 for the knife. So that's like you're at a total of 6.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I have a question for you.
Ooh, what do you want to do?
You know, that knife that you're wielding. You know, it's really interesting, that knife. It's a little corrupting though. Would you like to activate that knife? It'll cause corruption though, but it'll really help. I mean, you could just spend fate points if you wanted to. Like, you could spend fate points. How much physical stress do you have, Haley? Tall Haley?
That was a
zero
clause
physical
0. I have 0 physical stress.
What happened? But but how much can you take?
Oh, yeah. So
Yeah.
Bloody Haley has some. I didn't think.
Yes.
I have 4 boxes.
Oh.
All right. So Tall Haley's going to soak 4 boxes, and you're currently at 6, which is not bad. We'll probably not knock her out at this point, but if you want, I could make that happen. Well, you could make that happen.
I can make that happen with just a little sprinkle of corruption.
So if you want to take her out, you need to do, what is that? Let's say 10, 12, 14. You need to do 15 shifts in one go to take her out. She has a 1, so you need a 16. You're currently at a 6. You could spend more fate points to get it closer, but here's what I'll tell you. If you'd like to unleash the powers of that dagger, whatever you need to knock her out, I'll just give you for its magic. You can unleash magic. And you can just use that stunt, which is just another +2 automatically, and then you'd only need 8 from me. I will give you whatever you need in the form of magic to take her out.
I think, as tempting
You
as
can
that
do it.
offer is, I know.
You could.
Beautiful,
right
beautiful
there.
yellow angel on my shoulder.
Yes.
Um,
It's right now. You'd only need 8 from me, and then you could take her out. Only
I think
8. That's all you would need.
Elaine will decline that and only at least knock her down at least some, because I'm still unsure of who this actually is. Elaine is definitely unsure, and I think having faced fears and guilt, probably is not about to try to do something she's going to necessarily regret in this moment. I think that's going to be. I think that's going to stop her.
All right. Are you sure? Because I will give you all of the shifts you want for not free, but just as a present. Just channeling dark, corrupting magics, and you can have it if you want. You don't have to, but I mean, if you wanted to, you could.
No, I think I'm gonna be happy with the 6. I'm gonna be happy with the 6.
Right.
Elaine doesn't want to actually do something she's gonna regret, because that's gonna be a lot worse for her psyche and her problems. So.
It's like you might know me.
Yeah, maybe we're friends, Trooper. Maybe we're friends.
Maybe we're friends. Tall Haley, would you please take 8 shifts, which is going to soak up all 4 of your stress, leaving you with 4, which is going to be a moderate consequence.
That's rough.
And
what is that consequence?
And I think that moderate consequence is going to be, you've been knocked in the back of the head. You're already disoriented. which has sort of been used up a little bit, I think that is going to be, I think, and tell me, Elaine, if you feel good about this, that, because heads bleed a lot. Head wounds bleed. I feel like what happens is that when you hit Tall Hayley in the back of the head with this knife, you slip a little bit and you actually cut her right above her eyes. You actually sort of hit her a little bit. And I think the knife twists in your hand a little bit. You go to hit her with the pommel, but the knife twists in your hand and you actually stab her in the neck. You did not mean to. You didn't mean to, but the knife seemed to want to. And I think that what is happening is that our Tall Hayley is bleeding and weakened. And just take that as a moderate consequence, which, by the way, has a free invoke that you all can use against her. The blade is a little hungry. Who would you like to pass it to, Elaine?
Ooh, because it's interesting. John, I think Elaine will pass it to you with, we need to get a handle on this. Help. And she looks towards John. To Jester, like, help me with Tall Hayley, but entirely up to you and your own,
because John knows that Bloody Hayley's the danger. Before you take your action, John, I just want to point out something. This is one of the rules that's very important in Fate. When you're in a conflict, at any time before dice are rolled, someone can they can concede the conflict and take themselves out of a conflict. If you, Elaine, had decided to just take 8 shifts of exciting, corrupting energy from me as a present, then you would get to decide how Hayley is taken out, unless maybe the corruption decided for you, which might have been distressing. It's fine. But Tall Hayley can choose to take herself out of the conflict before John rolls. And if Tall Hayley decides to take herself out of the conflict, she decides how she leaves. If you all choose, if you all take her out, then you decide how she's taken out. So, for example, Elaine could be like, I knock her unconscious. Tall Hayley could be like, I escape. So I would like to know, I'm just going to put this out there. Tall Hayley, would you like to concede this conflict, or would you like to stay in?
And I can choose, Tall Hayley can choose to do this anytime. So even after
anytime
John's
before dice are rolled. After John's roll, but
okay.
If John takes you out, you can't concede. It's just your choice.
Oh, so like, so John, if John's entire turn goes, John passes it. I can't concede during that pass.
You cannot concede. Basically, if John does a thing to you and you're like, oh wow, I'll be taken out, you cannot concede. Once the dice are on the table, you have to follow up through.
Does Tall Hayley think John can do this?
That's a good question.
And because she's so consequent, she gets 2 free fate points if she concedes now.
That is correct.
I think it does feel good for Tall Hayley to conceal it right now.
Tall Hayley. How do you escape this situation? You are bleeding out of your neck. You're disoriented. You're now surrounded by all of these people who are your friends. But you're going to get out of this conflict. How do you do it?
I think Tall Hayley is going to, I call it the hereditary crawl, but I think it's going to crawl like reach up and grab the ceiling. And it's not that much of a stretch, but just enough, and just pull herself up with her amazing ab muscles and just like scurry to the window. And I think it's gonna be tricky because the gun is in her hand. So you might have seen a third arm, you might not have. It's really hard to see in that darkness. And as that happens, I think Tall Hayley looks between Jack and I think looks to Jack, and you could see actually in that, like, the blade actually cracked her sunglasses, that she was wearing, and so 3 eyes on one side stare back at Jack. One that flecks, that flecky blue with gold flecks. One normal and one just pitch black, and says, "You agree with me in the future. Do what needs to be done. John cannot leave this house." And then swoops away.
Now, I'm going to note that because you all won this conflict, you do get something out of it. She gets to leave how she wants to, but she leaves something behind. Something, as she's doing her strange crawl, something falls out of her. What are you wearing on your top? Like a sweat jacket? What are you wearing?
A crop top of the Hayley Howlers, which has one of those sweatshirt pockets, and I think something falls out of that sweatshirt pocket.
Mm-hmm. Something falls out of that sweatshirt pocket and clatters to the ground as tall Hayley makes her way in a perhaps not natural way out of the room. Can I get everybody who's in there to make a will save, make a will roll for me if you don't mind?
Oh dear.
It's not too difficult because you're in the middle of a little bit of a moment. I need you to beat a 2. Yes, and can I get Bloody Hayley as well?
Bloody Hayley just met it. Does that mean
Yep,
that? That
fine.
means okay.
You are fine. Jack takes 1 mental stress.
So that is going to take me out of the of the scene.
No, you still have stress. Yes.
No, that's my last stress box. That's my last metal stress box.
That's perfect. You're not taken out at all.
Okay.
You're taken out. Oh yeah. No, you have one. You have an empty one. You're good. You just filled that last stress bar. You're fine. You're just super stressed out.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I got you. So it's when I'd have to take more than that, then I would be taken out. Okay, gotcha.
No, then you take consequences. Yeah, and if you cannot take your consequences, you cannot take stress, then you're taken out. So, you're there in this moment. Jack's a little shaken by this, and this something clatters to the ground. What do you do? You're there. By the way, Jackie Dash, Bloody Hayley has her full complement. She only has 1. She just spent 1 fate point. However, tall Hayley, who belongs to me, spent 2 fate points, and I will get rid of those fate points, but I get to get them back at the end of the scene.
Yeah,
because those were my fate points.
I think just watching
tall Hayley was.
I think just watching her. Sorry. I think just watching her go out the window, I'm just basically all I can think to say is, very good form. And just stand there staring at the window.
I'm assuming the item just falls kind of directly right next to me, so I'll hear it, see it, kind of just like, okay, that happened. Willpower is like 5. I'm like, cool. That's like, you know what? We escaped Carcosa.
You're fine.
This is fine. Cool. What's that? I pick it up. What is the item? Do I get to decide what the item is, or like, what is the item?
Oh no, I will tell you. It is a notebook. It's a notebook. It's like one of those little spiral notebooks, and it has all these notes on it. And it is. It's funny because some of them are clearly in what would be Hayley's handwriting, probably. And there's also other handwriting. So it's like a, when you were in middle school and you'd pass notes between each other, like in a notebook, and you'd write something and somebody would write back and they'd write back, and you'd like go back and forth with slightly different ink. So some of it's just her thinking, and some of it is this back and forth. And what you're noticing is that this is an operation. Clearly, there are a couple of people here, 4 of them, it looks like, who are having conversations about the operation that they're on. And they're waiting for the others, the 4. The quiet one, the professor, the magician, the occultist, and that they're waiting for them to arrive. They know they're coming, and they have to stop them. And there's this discussion about, should we kill them? We shouldn't kill them because they are ourselves. That would be strange. The quiet one seems to be very bloodthirsty, though. The quiet one is like, oh, no, we will kill them. The magician's like, I don't know. I think we might be able to do this without killing them. We just have to convince them, the magician says. And the quiet one's like, no, they all have to die if we're to save the future. And the professor says, but the question is, where's the play? We thought that we have to get it. And so there's this question about where the play is. And the occultist says, the quiet one, didn't you have it? You had the play. And the quiet one writes back, I had it, but then another one of the magicians showed up and took it. We need to get it back and destroy it. We have to get it back and destroy it. And they're like, okay, we need to figure out where that other magician is. And they're like, we don't know. So there were clearly, it looks to you from looking at this, that this team from the future, all of them from the future, have come back to the past to try to destroy the play, stop you all from doing your mission, which was to send the play to the future, kill you if necessary. But another magician showed up and took the book. Ones with tattoos, so that was weird. So there is perhaps a magician running around with the play and a team of future yous who, according to future John, really should just murder you all. Future John seems to be a little violent. Future professor's doing research. Near the end, it says, future John says, all right, occultist, future occultist, go to the house. They might go there. And if so, kill them. Or at least kill John. John cannot survive this. That's what it says.
Cool. Okay, we're not drinking the lemonade.
If you wanted to, you could, though, because the lemonade's super tasty. Super tasty.
It is super tasty. It does, though, have a little bit of smell of almonds. And
it's just a spicy. It's just a bit spicy, huh? Right?
Yep.
Okay. So there's Elena's definitely gonna talk to Jack and John about this afterwards. I'm pretty sure a lot of like speed reading and just like, what the hell? Okay, cool. Just like tuck that away with the knife carefully. What is Bloody Hayley doing? I just like,
yeah. Hey, Bloody Hayley.
It's you. You're 2020 Hayley. Like Elena's like, you're 2020 Hayley, right?
I think what's happening is, when you try to look at Bloody Hayley, there are 4 eyes now, and it is hard to figure out which ones to focus. So there's a lot of squinting and a lot of like the irises are pupillating, or not pupillating. They're bigging and they're smalling. Yes, there we go. And I think Bloody Hayley I assume she came from a bedroom, probably not hers, but then stumbles by and finds where the bathroom is and just goes in there, slams the door, and like you would just hear a bunch of being sick.
And probably a shower at some point in time, as I'm imagining.
Yeah. It's like,
so what do you all do? You're all stuck there. What do you do? Like, she just goes into, there's some vomiting going on.
We need to have a talk. This book is full of weirdness. it's like there's another group of us from the future who've come back to fix things. And I think future you, Elaine looks at John, wants us all dead. I don't know what's happening. This is a lot. But, and she just goes on like, kind of like run on sentences about like a lot of what Troop has already like talked about, like, you know, things, they have these plans, but also they don't know where the play is because there's another magician that has tattoos, and like Elaine just looks at Jack. Where's Jack? Is Jack still just kind of like...
Yeah, Jack is sort of, well, yeah, you started talking and he's trying to kind of snap out of it. He probably started to when Bloody Hayley slammed the door to the bathroom, so he was just like, the hell? Wait, what? How many of us are running around now?
Too many. Okay. Taking a page out of John's book about paellas, we're kind of like, okay, you know what? That was not our Hayley. Our Hayley's back there. We're okay. We're gonna stop. We're gonna toss that lemonade. We're gonna just sit down for a second, and I think Elaine will try to salvage, at least get some water. Is there snacks in this apartment that I don't know if she trusts
imagine they're protein
snacks at this
bars.
point.
So
Okay,
much
yeah.
protein shakes. Yeah, there's so much protein
Sure.
shakes, and you know, there's not a lot of vegetables because, you know, this is more of that like you need to be in there for the pictures and then you basically leave one kind of situation they share between.
It's about
multiple
bulking,
people.
right? It's not about.
It's not about roughage.
But there probably is, if you look hard enough in the freezer, some of those like no bake protein cookies, which are like oatmeal and protein milk and chocolate chips and peanut butter. So if you really need to get your sugar on, like, you'll get it.
Cool. So I think she'll get water, find snacks that aren't as suspicious, sealed whatever way, and just like get everybody sit down and just like throw the weighted blanket on John. Oh, actually, no, I don't know if she was throwing the weighted blanket. She's like trying to like keep people just chill down. Here's some water, and then like I'm gonna keep an eye and see what Hayley's doing because time travel sucks.
Yeah. And you know that. Like, you know that time travel is pretty awful.
And that's what Elaine's gonna be doing.
Clear all of your stress. Everybody clear your stress. Taking that moment, right? Taking that moment to have some protein shakes, to vomit, take a shower. That is some stress that you can clear. Now, your consequence, Hayley, what is it?
I think
What is the
it's
consequence you have?
disorientation from time jumping. I believe it was somehow related to the trauma of how you got to the time travel. That was a large part of that as well. And I don't know if that clears yet.
Nope. Before it can clear, Elaine needs to talk to you and maybe do some empathy. Because that's how you help people when they're having mental trauma. You have to do some, you know what I mean? You got to have a little bit of conversation. And
I'm so glad I boosted that stat last session, so that's great.
have some time with each other. Please go. I imagine sort of Elaine goes upstairs, right, to sort of deal with Hayley while John and Jack are downstairs.
Yeah.
John have seen at the book that Elaine picked up.
I mean, I imagine she would have left it for you to look at.
John's just looking. He's like, I don't understand. If this is us, then are we the good ones and they're the bad ones? And what?
It's a great question.
Why does other me want us dead?
Well, they've been like, what are they all writing in the same journal? How does this work? He's just sort of looking at it, trying to figure out what the messaging thing is talking about. Is it just like a record from Tall Hayley's perspective, or is it like literally like an I am in writing?
Yeah, it's
passing notes.
it's like you would have done. It's what you would have done back in the day before we had IMs, when you're just like, I'm going to write my thing, so that they have it. It's not electronics. You can't hack it, right? You can't overhear it.
Yeah.
But they're having their notes. But this is clearly her notebook, because she has just some of her own thoughts here and there as well. So it's primarily hers.
Okay.
But probably when they're in some space where they can't speak out loud, they pass this notebook around. But it's not hers anymore.
Well, sort of looking at it, I'm like, how far back do these entries go? John, do you think? Because we can't. Okay, so there's something. There's some. Okay, about the time travel thing. Okay, we can't go back and forth. We found that out with Renee. That was how we figured out that we can't do that. But you and Hayley are in the mix now. And I'm actually starting to wonder, what do we like? Do we fail now and then wait another 10 years and try again? Is that what do you think that might be what this is?
Hey, John.
I don't know.
Would you make me a roll?
Sure.
I feel like you should do empathy. Maybe do empathy. What are your top skills right now, by the way?
Will is my top skill. Lore and stealth.
What's your lore like?
Good. +4.
Why don't you do a lore and also empathy? That's what I would like. I feel like that would be good for you.
Then empathy.
Okay. That's going to mean something for you, and I'm sad for you. It's great. It's fine. So, you're looking through the book, right? And maybe you're looking at the things that the other you is writing. The other you. I don't think Hayley ever told you that you died in the normal timeline, so you don't know that. So anyway, this John is clearly you. That's what your empathy tells you. That failed empathy roll, unless you want to spend some fate points. But right now, you have not hit the number you need to be very empathetic about, get a good read of the John that you're reading. So if you do not spend fate points, you think this is you. That this is you from the future.
Right. Well,
would you like to spend a fate point? Your lore's going to be very good. You're going to get a really good reading about this future you from the lore, but who you think it is going to depend on whether you spend that fate point or not.
So right now, as far as I'm concerned, it's other me, right?
As far as you're concerned, it is you in the future.
Right.
It is who are you going to be. It is you.
Sure, I'll spend that fate point.
What allows you to spend that fate point? What aspect? What allows you to get a sense of the difference between, to get a really good read on this person?
I'm gonna go with the dreams lie, because Elaine reminding me of that, and seeing what was written on the computer.
Yeah.
How supposedly Hayley was concerned for our safety, but now they want me dead.
Right. I'm gonna give you one more possibility before I tell you. Right now you have succeeded. You've succeeded. You can, if you like, invoke the yellow sign is buried. If you invoke the yellow sign is buried and use that as the justification for it, you would succeed in that roll, and you would have invoked one of these aspects, which is important to help you get better in the timeline. And in this instance, invoking the yellow sign is buried will be relevant. But if you don't want to know why it's relevant, you don't have to invoke it. But it would help the team.
Yeah, I think I have to know.
So you don't invoke Dreams Lie. You invoke the yellow sign is buried instead. And as you're reading this journal, all the details are the same. What Elaine said is there. It's there. But as you're reading it, at first you think, wow, what happened to me? Do you know what I mean? You think, what happened to me that I would be so cruel? But then there's something about the language in the diary, in the things that the other you writes. It's not clear at first, but it's just something, and then it hits you. It's the handwriting, actually. It's the handwriting. You recognize the handwriting. You recognize it in your dream journal. It's the handwriting that's not yours, but the other Carcosa John's. And you realize that as it's something very small, it's a little word. It's a little way in which Carcosa John writes their letters. This is not you. This is the John from Carcosa. This is also not a John from the future. The other ones in this book you think they are time travelers. You think that it seems to you that seems to make sense. There's some references here and there. You're looking at your lore okay, that makes sense. But this other John, it's not a time traveler from the future. You don't know why, because no one's ever told you what happened to you in the future. Some people, Elaine, have neglected to tell you this information, but you have a bad feeling. But this is not you. This person is not from the future at all. This person is from a very long time ago. A very, very long time ago, and you do not know what they are doing in this team of future time travelers, but this person is not supposed to be here. The lore lets you know that this person's from Carcosa. The empathy lets you know that it's not you. It is you, but it's not you. Let's go upstairs and see how Elaine is going to deal with our Hayley.
So shower's running, I'm assuming. She would have grabbed a glass of water, gone through the bedroom, grabbed the comfiest clothes, sweatpants, loose shirt, all the things. It's like, I've been through like the worst experience of my life through a cement tumbler, and now I am here. I know what that feels like. Bleeding everywhere, eyes everywhere, all that stuff. So she'll get that ready, and I think wait until the shower's done. Or the shower turns off, and she'll knock on the door.
Yeah. Which is it? Who is it?
It's Elaine. You're back. You were gone for a bit, and you're back.
Yeah. How? We're at my house. Well, not my house anymore. My rental. I don't even know. So you guys were in Peru. So time has passed.
Mm-hmm. Hey, you wanna? I've got some clothes for you and a glass of water. You wanna get dressed, and then do you wanna go sit down somewhere that's not on your bathroom floor and talk? Because been through a lot.
Yeah, but like, I think at this point, like, she opens the door and just like a bunch of steam comes out, and she's in like like multiple towels, and just like kind of like motions to move to keep going as you know, to go to her room, which congrats to you for not spying. That was a investigation moment, and you know, Hayley probably has one of those like closets that she just like takes the clothes and like dresses really quickly into and comes back out. Did you get any photos? Because we were in Peru and I took no photos, and I've lost a lot of clicks. Like, you got it. We had a villa. Creepy villa. Oh, that would have been good for YouTube. Oh.
Elaine doesn't really know what to do with this. What she's like, well, I mean, there was an explosion. I mean, if you want us to tell you about it and you can be the first to report on it, I guess that's something that we could do. I'm pretty sure, you know, changing the timeline where Carcosa is buried is important.
Yeah. Did you see a zombie? A wolf hybrid cow? Like, I need something for the blood. Like, I would even take like a sketch. And I think Hayley like is still like squinting through both of her eyes, and I think it's just now become a little bit easier just to look through the bottom ones right now, because which is
do you have gigantic sunglasses in your room right now?
Yeah,
are there like sunglasses? Yeah. Elaine will hand you at least a pair, because it's just like, you know, you're hurting, you don't know you're hurting, you should put these on. This might make it better.
Thanks.
No hybrid cows. Very big explosion.
Oh, nice.
We almost
sick.
I almost lost my mind, but you know, that's, you know how that is, I guess, sort of. You're getting to know what that's like. But no, I think it'd be much worse than Wolf. Oh, you would love the future. You're probably the only person who would really love what happens in the future.
I
just like thinking about all the people changing.
So when did Joey join your operation, or what? Like, gosh, Robin from the cradle. I'm dead. You go to kill me. You take my brother. Ugh.
What?
Yeah, Joey Rogers. He was standing with you guys. By the way, not cool to try to stab me. Like, I'm great. I got us to Peru.
Wait, so you...
I can't believe you think I'm empty weight after getting you to Peru. Ugh.
Oh, that's not... What did you see, Hayley?
Don't get back tattoos. You're gonna get something done already. But yeah, so Joey, just tell me about Joey. Joey Rogers, he's 12 right now, so I don't know what he's gonna look like when he's older, but if he's anything like me, handsome and rugged, and probably looks great in like streetwear.
Who's Joey your family?
Yeah, Joey Rogers is my little brother. He almost
your question, do I know who Joey is? I don't think... How far did he even have made it in our timeline, right? Okay.
The thing is, I don't think you didn't really even know Hayley before, and so you wouldn't have known, like, you do not know her brother at all. Her brother's not somebody that you know of, and there was no Joey Rogers in your project.
Cool. I was like, Hayley, I think it sounds weird. I think you got thrown into a different timeline where that happened. The me you're talking to right now does not know your brother. I don't know who Joey is. I never met him. He was never part of the projects or involved with anything. There was not a Joey. Joey was Rogers?
But you were there.
Yeah.
Like, Jack was there. You were there. Knife was there. And sorry, player question. Do I recall if John was there?
John was there.
John was
John was
there.
there. John had cybernetics,
And I think,
if I remember correctly.
oh, that's right. And
Mhm.
I think I start to explain like the white room and how it was a circle. And I think it's when doing that, it kind of clicked like
Mhm.
it's the same room that Elaine has been in.
Yeah.
And she just like, I am so sorry that you were slung back into that ritual. I'm really glad you made it out alive. Well, I'm glad you made it out. I'm glad you made it out alive, Hayley. I'm really glad you're here.
Yeah, well, I'm glad too, I guess. I mean, I didn't get any recording of it, but I'm not gonna. Maybe in a couple years I could tell the story, but like I don't think that's gonna be a YouTube live questionnaire.
You don't get to bring things back when you time travel. You can't really record things and bring them back. You can't even write them down. I mean, you can maybe write them on yourself, but like, you don't really ever come back with anything.
That makes sense.
She drops that and she's just like, you can probably maybe write it on yourself.
Can I get an empathy roll from Elaine?
Oops.
You need a 2. You need a 2.
Okay.
How much does this matter to you?
I'll use my resolved aspect. I'll have my resolve. I think can I invoke my trouble for facing my fears in a way? Kind of I'm facing the things in which the sacrifice is like, the impact of the sacrifice is like immense. So I will spend a fate point. And I will use my aspect. Is that worth using right now? Or if I'm going to use my... Cool.
Yes, because you need to beat 2, so you need to get a 3.
Great.
So you would need both of them.
Great.
Yep.
Great. Wonderful. I will use them both.
Hayley. She's talking to you. Maybe she gets some water. Maybe, I don't know, some club soda. But this conversation is enough to ground you back here and now. And after the next scene, you will clear your consequence.
Great.
But
yeah,
let's go downstairs for a moment. Just one moment. So we have
I think
26
in between the
Yeah.
catching up, I think that she'll just kind of fill Hayley in about the general, like what went down in Peru, and just catch her up on that while we're catching up.
I would really love 4 more retweets, by the way. Just 3 more would be great, so that I could get a Bane. I would love that. If y'all are watching and you care about me, I just feel like 3 more would be brilliant. That would be awesome. But you do have a boon at this moment. And downstairs, there's a boon that is going to come this way. Both Jack and John are downstairs, and there's like this sort of, John is going through this whole process of sort of like getting kind of a realization about something. And Jack, you're down there as well. And this apartment, I imagine there are a number of streamers who live here, but it's kind of a show apartment in certain ways, right? It's like it's meant to look really good in photographs. But there's a mail slot, in the front door, and people like shove things through. And there's like a number of newspapers, like daily newspapers, that are just kind of piled up. It's clear people have not really been here for some time, these newspapers, but they've been pushed to the side. And I imagine you probably didn't think much about it, except something catches your eye. Something catches your eye, an image on the newspaper, like out of the corner of your eye as John is reading through this. Do you care what that image is? And you don't have to look if you don't want to.
Just to double check, so I don't mess up on this again. Were you addressing me or John?
Jack. John is reading
Gotcha.
his diary, but you, Jack, you catch something at the corner of your eye on this newspaper, an image.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things where I'm just sort of casting about, trying to figure out what's going on, and if looks like a newspaper, if it's relatively recent, might be helpful. So I will look at it.
It is the newspaper from this morning, and it's the LA Times, And you've got like when you open it up, it's got the like the news, but you know how in the top of the newspaper you'll have like often like little small pictures for like smaller stories. It would be like for like on the inside of the paper. There's a little square, which is a advertising a show tonight at the at the Greek Theater, and it's Gideon Fox. But here's
Son
the
of a
thing.
bitch.
Here's the thing about this photo of Gideon Fox. Do you remember when you first arrived here in the past and you met up with Hayley and Hayley helped you? And you had to convince her that you were that you were not this, that you had to consider something was going on. And you were like, oh, hey, look on the internet, look at my feed, and you will see that I'm actually somewhere else. And so there are two of us. So you made that thing. And you remember when you looked at you had her look at the feed and you remember that you looked like you normally do. Bit of like, little Chris Angel going on there. And here you have this picture of you, this little picture. And if you go to the actual story, there you are. And you look just like you did, except that you now have face tattoos. The Gideon Fox of this moment now has face tattoos. You did not before Peru, but you do now.
I just sort of look at the
still look like
newspaper.
Chris
I just
Angel.
sort of shake my head. Yeah.
And by the way,
it's like
these
that vulgar
tattoos are not
Yeah.
classy. I just want you to know they are
Yeah,
not
just sort of
classy.
looking at it. I'm like, if I was getting that much done to my face, I could have at least had the decency to get rid of that damn jacket. I throw the paper down.
And this Gideon Fox has a show at the Greek, which is a really good gig for you. Like, that's a great gig. And I think you look over. By the way, can I just get one more retweet? Come on, give me one more. Give me one more. Just one. We're currently at 29. Please, for me. As you look over to John, he's asleep.
Oh boy.
John, you wake up. You're no longer dreaming. And you are at home. In your home. In Carcosa. We're going to go to break, everybody. Nymeria stream. welcome back to the second half of episode 4 of Fate of Cthulhu, The Return of Carcosa. In the first half, our heroes had this confrontation with this double of Hayley, and they realized that actually this other Hayley was maybe not their Hayley. They had a big confrontation. They were about to take her out, and she escaped. In the process, they read one of her sort of like notebooks, and they learned that there is a team of future soldiers, which consists of all 4 of them, who've come back in time to try to stop them from giving the book. They're supposed to get this play. They're supposed to bury this play in this graveyard so that in the future people can dig up the play and learn the secrets of the King in Yellow. And if they do that, then they can maybe stop the King in Yellow. So that's their mission, is to get this play, steal the play, bury it, so that in the future people can read the play and find out. Basically, they think that there are secrets in the play that might help them stop the King in Yellow. Except this future team has decided to murder them, to stop them, to destroy the play, to stop them from bringing the play forward. This is the goal of this other team. From I don't know what timeline. Well, I know. They don't know. And in the process, John learned that, they also learned that turns out the other Jack, the other Gideon Fox, has the play. They thought they had it. One of them had it, but it turns out this other Gideon Fox has it, who it turns out is doing a magic show tonight in the Greek Theater down there in Los Angeles. But in this moment, our John was looking through the diary and was noting through some of the language used and through the handwriting that the future John was actually not future John, but was the Carcosa John from the past that he remembered himself being. And sometimes he was confused as to which one he was, the one that was tempting him in Peru. And because of a lovely bane that I was given because you care, Nymeria Streams, thank you so much, Carcosa John, our John, falls dead asleep. And we are going to sort of bring ourselves upwards with John and I are going to have a little bit of a chat. So, John, you wake up. And it is a beautiful day. You've clearly slept in late a little bit, because the sun is streaming through your window. You're in your home. It is made of stone. It's all stone. And the weather is warm. And you're lying on your bed, which is quite large. And when I say there's sun coming in through the window, I mean, the window is open. It's like an open space. It's kind of like you're on a balcony almost. And you have these like gauze white curtains that are sort of blowing softly, coming in with the wind coming in. And you're just like, this room is sort of open to the elements. And you are sort of sitting there, and it smells so beautiful. It smells so beautiful because you've got clearly incense is in your room. There's some kind of beautiful flower petals. There's like, it's sort of floral and spicy, and the room is sort of made to be just the most pleasant space. And maybe you do not know how long you've slept. It's been quite some time. And as you lay there and you can hear birds outside and the sounds of foot traffic, maybe you hear some horses, which is interesting. But it is so beautiful and comforting and nice in this space. And you see a large golden pitcher, probably of water. There are no lights. There are no electric lights here. There are braziers, sort of like for torches. You have that in here, but there's nothing that reads of electricity. There's nothing that reads of sort of modern technology necessarily. So that's interesting. What do you do?
Well, being so well rested, it's so peaceful out here. And just always being able to sleep as needed when needed. It's just wonderful. I'd go out to the balcony and just look over the people.
And as you
Seeing them
stand on the
enjoying
balcony,
their lives.
it's beautiful. There's so many of them. There are all of these people, and they're all dressed in colorful clothes, yellows, mostly yellows, and oranges and reds. And it's the city is huge. And if you look up into the sky, you see the three suns in the sky, one much larger, two smaller. And it's good. It's good. You notice people look at you as they walk by, and people nod to you with a sort of a slight bow with respect. You're quite a bit distant from them. Your building that you're in, your home, it's a ziggurat. It's quite large, and you're on one of the sort of mid floors, but people wave to you with respect and with happiness. There will probably be a good crop this year, I think. You do have to give a sermon soon. There's always business, always business. And you hear a knock on your door. Which then opens. And a young woman comes in, and she smiles at you and she goes, quiet one, we've been worried about you. I wanted to give you news. The king does request your audience. Apparently it's quite important. I mean, of course, we can wait until after your sermon, but the king does need to speak with you.
No. If the king requests my presence, then it must be of the utmost importance. Please,
It is.
lead the way.
Of course, but one moment. And she goes, and there's like a cabinet, and she opens it, and she pulls out these beautiful, the clothing is amazing. Could you describe it? And if you like, I can certainly vamp while you go get it, because I know you wanted to perhaps grab something to the side.
I mean, it's a nice green embroidered cloak that he would wear for his sermons. I mean, he couldn't deign to wear yellow. That is reserved specifically for the king. I mean, he's nowhere near the importance of that. But as time is of essence, it is best for him to go ready for the sermon as well.
And this woman, she smiles at you as if she's known you for years. And she's dressed in sort of bits of what she's wearing is there's like a sort of like there's more than one yellow in this place. There's a bit of an off yellow, which is what most of the people wear who are wanting to sort of celebrate and be like in the culture. A lot of greens, but there is one yellow that is only for the king, and she is wearing sort of bronze. She's wearing some green, a little bit of turquoise. The things that she's wearing clothing. This is clearly quite hot. Carcosa is a hot place, and so she's wearing clothing that is covering sort of linens, but quite a lot of jewelry. The sorts of jewelry they wear here in the great city of Carcosa has a lot of. It's like I can think of amethyst, tourmaline, and she makes sure that your outfit is completely sort of set up and fit. And she leads you to a place you know well. It is in the center of the ziggurat. There is this open space, and inside the open space, there are the Carcosans, and they are waiting you. And you come in to one side, and across from you, the other side of this grand courtyard, is the king. And the king sits upon this great, great throne, a throne of gold. And he is a kind-looking man, quite tall, in this brilliant yellow robe. And he wears a mask that is in front, that he has over his face, and a hat. And he sits across, and you know that after your sermon, you should go and speak with him, you know. But first, of course, you must speak to the people. And there is some trouble in Carcosa, which is a wealthy, prosperous city of art, of music. There is everything you could want in a land. Nothing harms this land. It is perfect, except there have been rumors. Rumors of some illness. Only small things at first. Someone has sort of gotten a plague that causes them to bleed. It was some small rumors of such a thing, but it's small and not. I'm sure it is fine. It's just that some of the people have been a bit nervous about it, and you here are to speak to the people to give them some comfort in this moment. And everyone, we go to a hush as they come to listen to you.
My good people, it has come to my attention that there has been some concern. People believe that there's an illness coming through. People bleeding. But know that you are here in Carcosa. That you are the chosen ones. Do not take this as a troubling sign, for the king has told me it is what is to happen. You must embrace these changes within you. You must satiate your hunger. That is why we provide these great feasts, bountiful foods for all to eat. You shall never go hungry. You shall go beyond hungry, beyond full. You shall fill yourselves past the point of full. Only then shall we all be able to rid ourselves of these fragile cases in which we are stuck in. For we are the chosen ones. We are to never be sick. We are to transcend mortality. We are to follow the king, for he knows what is best for us. He provides for us, and we provide for him. Of course, it is always your choice. You can choose to accept mortality. You can choose to limit yourself. You can choose to feel hunger and pain. You all know where the gates are. You are free to leave at any time. But know that once you leave, you can never come back. But I trust that most of you are very pleased with the situation. Do not fear the changes that come, for that is proof to me and to the king that you have chosen to remain by his side.
And there's cheers amongst the crowd. And the king in yellow stands and says, "The quiet one has always blessed us with his wisdom. There is nothing to fear. The city of Great Carcosa has lasted 10,000 years and will last 10,000 more. Go to the feast and feed your hunger. I, your king, in yellow, so bequeath it. And the king stands and makes his way out of the sort of the main vision, and you know that he's going to his rooms, his chambers, where he will expect you.
Give a parting wave to the crowd. And I bless the feast that's been laid out for them. And then I head out to speak to the king.
And as you walk out, you notice that as they begin to eat, their hunger seems to grow, and the eating becomes a bit more desperate, as if they can never satiate the hunger that is within them. And as you make your way back into this chamber room, this anteroom, where the king sits tired, a bit exhausted, and he sighs, and he says, "Quiet one, I need your advice." And I may need your counsel and your help.
Of course.
And you can hear the strains of music, the strange music of Carcosa. Quiet one. The people are dying. A plague has come to Great Carcosa, and the people are dying. I don't know how to stop it.
But what of the great transformation you spoke of?
There is
something gone wrong?
No, I have learned that there is a price to pay for that transformation. And I don't know if I should take the offer of the one. I have been promised a way to save all of us and make us immune from the plague and make it so that we will never be affected by it. We will be safe. But I do not trust this one I have contacted, and I have become uncertain in this moment. Should I accept?
Well, being seated on your side has been my greatest privilege. And if you would like for me to ease your doubts, I could always confirm the veracity of your contact. That is not something that you should do your own on yourself, my lord. You leave that to a lowly servant as me.
I want you to dream forward, if you can. No. I will accept. I will do this to save my people. It is a balance and a trade. I will make a sacrifice to save Carcosa. And when it is done, Carcosa will be saved from this plague. I do not know entirely what the price will be for me, but I leave the city to your care in case. And if it does not go well, I will ask you to find me in the dreams.
My lord, if by chance you find the opportunity for me to take your place in sacrifice, I more than willingly accept. I will do as needed.
Quiet One, this is why I value, but as long as I have the pallid mask, it should protect me. I'm sure that this will keep me safe from whatever it is that I speak to. But people are dying and sacrifices must be made. Quiet One, or if I may, in this moment, John, if this does not go well, if we are lost, I leave it to you to find me again. If where I go I cannot return, I charge you with bringing me back. Do you understand?
Yes, my lord. And I shall do what I can to ensure that you have their mask on all possible planes.
Please. Without it, I don't know if I will be able to restore the city if it is destroyed. But with it, no matter where we are, in any place, I can return Carcosa to the glory that I fear is fading now. We two servants will walk amongst the plains, and Carcosa will always live within us no matter what. It may feed a hunger. It may harm us. But in the end, no matter what, Carcosa will remain and will return. I must go to speak to the one whose name shall not be spoken, the unspeakable, to make a deal. And I leave the city in your hands until then.
I am honored in your trust. And I
The hunger is heavy.
trust that you know, indeed. I believe I have been fated, or no, destined, to ensure that your dreams come true for who better than a dreamwalker to ensure?
I must confide in you something before I go off to seek the unspeakable. And the king moves his half mask a bit and raises it, and you see cracks and lines, and the skin turning yellow. The plague has hit me, and so I have little time. But I will tell you this. At first comes the hunger, insatiable, and then heat in your mind, restlessness, sleeping too much, not sleeping at all, dreams, pain, bleeding. That is the course of the plague. But I will transform the plague to something else. Stay Find me in dreams if I don't return. But we will. Well, you've always been loyal, and I count your friendship as one of the most important things in my entire reign. And I know that I can count on you.
Of course, my lord. And I will do my best to guide your dreams to the proper outcome.
I shall leave now. Please watch over the festival. The play shall be premiered tonight. The banquet is waiting for you. And the king, tired, with sort of long white hair, looking much older than you've ever seen him, but with sort of kind eyes that are flecked with gold, blue, flecked with gold, skin the color of copper, stands in his long robe, hat, takes his pallid mask, bows to you, the quiet one, and leaves the antechamber, leaving you alone in the hall with the sounds of strange music coming from outside in the courtyard. Let us return to the apartment, if we might. Jack, John's asleep.
Yo.
John's asleep like that.
Should we be keeping an eye on him just in case? Because actually, no, there's no one else down. Is everyone else down here at this point, or is it just
I
me?
imagine you're
Am I talking to
coming
myself?
down, yes. I imagine you started talking to yourself, but Elaine and Haley arrive as you are talking to yourself.
Yeah, I'm probably actually just sort of like, it's so if I'm talking to myself at that point, it's more there's more a quiet string of expletives that's happening, and I'm just sort of looking over. I'm like, ah, crap. Hey, do we want it now? Remind me, do we want him to do this, or do we want to wake him up like right now, considering what happened last time?
I mean, okay, so Elaine will like see him, just kind of like put her hand on his shoulder and just kind of give him a small like light shake to see if that will bring John back.
Give me awareness.
Me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, Elaine, give me awareness. Give me awareness.
Where is awareness? Notice, yeah?
Yes, notice. Thank you. Yes. Give me a notice.
What is that? That's fair, okay.
That's fair. Would you like to succeed at a minor cost?
Do I want to succeed at a minor cost? Do I?
It's very minor. It's not a big deal at all.
You're
Honest,
wearing yellow.
honest.
I don't know.
It's very minor.
And I would like to hold on to my 2 fate points. So yes, I will succeed at a minor cost.
You peer at him and you look at him, and just take 2 stress if you don't mind. Mental stress. Just that's your minor cost. 2 mental stress. It's not a big deal. John's dead. He's not breathing.
Oh no. Oh, okay. You suddenly see Elaine just snap and puts her fingers right on his neck, looking for a pulse, and he's like, he's not breathing. He doesn't have a pulse. I believe I would know CPR being the academic and having been on the field. So I begin doing at least first aid to begin to bring him back.
Can you give me your academics?
Yes.
And before you
please,
do,
please.
does anybody want to help you? And
I
also make a
think
will save. Elaine, make your will, because this is probably not great for you.
Academics or will?
Roll will first, because he's dead.
Will first.
And he's your friend.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
Yep. Just want to see how you're
Okay.
doing. Just.
I'm gonna do this for.
You know what? Sure. So here's the thing. There may be time to panic. There may be time to freak out. This is not that time.
Cool.
You need to roll some academics, and I want to know if anyone's going to help you, because she just told you he's dead. Is there anything you want to do to help out with this situation?
I would like to roll resources because I do believe in a fitness-focused house, there would be something in this room that would.
Yes.
Well, I'm looking like
Yes.
adrenaline needle,
Yes.
CPR machine, something of those. So I'm going to pool. I'm going to
Yes.
use my resources roll to try to support
Yes.
by creating an aspect of that sort.
Yes. Yes, indeed. Create that aspect. Give me a resources roll for some good equipment in your like super sketch like fitness house, Fitsona house. Okay, that's great. Tell me what you want, because you're going to get an aspect right now with a free invoke. What would you like? What is in this place as she's like, oh no, he's dead. Where do you go? This is like I know you've got workout equipment in here. You probably have like a lot of stuff. You got a lot of stuff. What would you like?
I think there is somewhere in here, I'm assuming people who were fitness trainers probably live here. I think there is an AED machine somewhere in this place. And what's great about an AED machine is a lot of the modern ones will give you instructions. So I'm going to I'm going to run and I'm going to get the AED machine.
That is an aspect you have created. It is there. Jack, would you like to do anything? John's dead.
That's not good. So let's see. I don't think I have anything in my skills that kind of relates to this, except maybe vaguely athletics, but I don't know if that counts as knowledge of anything with respect to this.
Or rapport. Like you could try to
I do have
help
rapport.
Elaine emotionally.
Yeah.
You could
So
try
I could so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to immediately drop everything I'm doing and just sort of be present, to be like just ready to hand Elaine stuff, and I don't think Jack's even going to say anything. He's just going to appear at the on one side of John and just be like ready to grab stuff for Elaine, and just make it just very clear visually that it's like if Elaine is reaching for something, he's going to grab it for her and just basically do support and be ready to help out.
Roll your rapport.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Which aspect would you like to create on Elaine? What is the aspect that you create with your rapport, with your presence, with you being here?
The tools of life are at your fingertips. Is that too much?
The tools, yeah, no, I love it.
Lord.
I love it. The tools of life at your fingertips. Elaine, you have Jack being supportive, being a presence, as he always has been, And you have Hayley, who has ripped through this place and has brought out a machine for you. I would like you to roll academics to try to save his life.
Does the power of friendship
4.
work? I roll for friendship.
So I'm going to tell you, you need an 8. You get +2 from Hayley and +2 from Jack. That's an 8. Now, technically you succeed, but would you like to do this through your own power, where you use the power of friendship to bring him back, which technically you have done, although you need one more. That's the problem, because you have to beat 8. The difficulty is 8. You have to hit a 9, so you're 1 down. Now, I'm going to note that we have 2 options here. We have 3 options, probably. You could spend your own personal fate points. You've got fate points you can spend. That's cool. Also, we had some gift subs that came in earlier, which gave you 1 group fate point, which is a special fate point. You could use that. That's also an option. That would do it for you. Or there's the third option. If you wanted, you could take some corruption and you could bring him back through other means, if you wanted. Now, technically, you are just like 1 off, so maybe you don't want a whole bunch of corruption, which will help the old gods. But I just want to put it on the table that is a possibility if you wanted that. So you could use
this really nice shiny dagger that like is super powerful. I hear you, dagger.
I'm just saying the dagger can like amplify things. It does come at a cost. But, you have a special group fate point that was given to you by our audience, which you could use instead, or your own personal fate points. It's up to you.
John,
or you can just use your dagger to go and,
Well, pause it to the group. Is this something y'all want to use a group fate point for? Does that save over session, or is it only for the session?
I would save it over the session.
You save it over the session?
Because somebody donated those subs, and I want to,
I know. I think
and
I'm
I'll say
going
it's a special
to.
fate point. It's special.
It's very special. I think because it's personal to Elaine that I will use a fate point to boost it up over the points. Corruption. I'm still the Carcosa is still pretty fresh in my mind, right?
Yeah.
And the tall Hayley thing still fresh in my mind is a great reminder of like, So
this is what happens when you get a little too much corruption.
It's it's okay. You know what? This means I empty out the pie to eat more pie later, Trooper. We're gonna have more corruption pie. All right. I would like to invoke. I think it's either guiding John with his powers. I think determined in this moment. It's like the determination to like, I am not going to let you go. Not only let you go, but like no, this is not the time. This is not how I am not going to let this unspeakable thing take him from me. I think it's a determined feeling in that moment.
Yeah. So how do you do it? How do you bring John back?
Oh man. Like Elaine is focused, doing compressions, doing breathing, and just you hear her just like, you don't die on me, don't go, I'm not going to let him take you, is what she's saying. Not again, not like this.
Hayley, she's working real hard. What do you do? She's trying so hard. What do you say in this moment? Our Howler. What do you say? John is
if I can make it back,
contact.
John can make it back. John found me in the dreams. It's why I'm here. If John can't make it, none of us are gonna make it.
Jack?
Wait, I think some the part of my brain turned over 2 pages at once. This is additional supportive dialogue as befits
because we're just in that moment.
A thing that has happened. Yeah. All right. Just basically, I think that this is stuff that we've kind of trained on doing before we hopped back. So I think it would be some little little thing where Yeah, maybe with some sort of little metaphor. It's like as I'm just sort of looking at the patient, and only them just sort of tap and just sort of look from my side, nod to say we're at the barn door, which is sort of kind of metaphor for we're getting there before the horses get out type deal thing, basically.
And John, I have a question for you. Would you like a fate point?
Well, I do only have 2 left. Yeah, just in case, may as well.
I give you a fate point. And let me ask you this follow-up question. Would John like to come back?
Which John?
It's a great question, isn't it? The fate point says, you get to choose, because I'll give you a different present. I'm going to give you a different present. But I leave the choice of which John comes back to you, but I will let you know that it is... there's more than one person who would like to come back into this body from the dream.
I feel like...
You get to choose.
I feel like current John... This is probably the best sleep he's had in years, so... I don't think he's ready to come back just yet.
And so, John's eyes flutter awake. John, you are sitting right now. You're sort of sleeping on a bit of a couch. You're in a small, you're in like a warehouse. And you just nodded off a little bit. And you are in this warehouse with your team, with the professor, with the magician, and stumbling into this warehouse is the occultist, bleeding from her neck, tall, elongated limbs, clearly a little bit disoriented. Carcosa John has awakened, where you went to sleep just a little bit a while ago, waiting to hear back from Hayley if she had completed her mission, which was to kill those people. And you were awakened with a start because she rushes into this warehouse. And I'm going to leave this to you four, who are your other selves, sent from a future to kill those other ones and stop them from bringing the book forward. I believe Hayley has some news for you. You are muted.
Apologies, Zoom etiquette. She jumped early. She's already jumped once. Do I have another eye? And I think the occultist goes up to Jack and is like trying to like see if a fifth set has grown.
No, just the 4 sets as far as I can tell right now. But of course, want to go for another one?
I told you that's not how time jumps work. You don't just happen.
And for the record, you're all wearing a lot more leather and a lot more goth makeup. It's just you, because you're dark versions of yourselves from the future. So there's like just a lot more corruption happening, just a lot more corruption and way more leather. You probably listen to 9 Inch Nails. I'm just saying. It's just so you know, for your characterization, a lot more leather.
Undercuts. We all have undercuts.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, if they weren't waiting for us, they sure were ready. I don't know. They're not dead.
Okay.
And they have a dagger. Who lost the dagger? Elaine?
Which dagger? What are you talking about? What did it look like?
The dagger, the ceremonial dagger. They had it.
And you let and oh no.
I didn't let them have it. They stabbed me with it.
It's going to complicate things.
Is it okay? Is it okay?
And she like, and then Elaine just like,
All right.
just like exactly what Elaine does. First aid just kind of cleans up the wound for her.
Thanks, Elaine.
Yeah. And you have amazing corruption stunts, by the way, because you're super badass and corrupted and scary. And, you know, as a team, you have been sent to 2020 to stop that team from bringing the play to the future, because you have been told that bringing that play to the future will destroy it. It makes everything worse. You know that it makes everything worse. John, I'm going to send you a DM about what you want to do. And you do not know him as Carcosa John. You know him as Future John. Yeah. But the play's lost. The magician was supposed to have it, but the other magician took it in a thievy kind of a way. So that's not great.
Oh my god. I have a thought about doing something absolutely horrible. Can I spend one of alternate Jack's fate points to introduce a thing into the scene?
Yes. It depends on what it is, though. As long as it's good for y'all, then yes, because I like it.
It's the same newspaper.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It is the same newspaper. And you're wondering what happened to Gideon Fox? Like, where's Gideon Fox? Gideon Fox, because as you know, you went to go and get the play from the museum before, you know, our main heroes could. But it was stolen by Gideon Fox and replaced with a forgery, which you knew right away. Like, you knew it was a forgery because you're future people, you know.
That's what I would have done.
Like, it's what you would have done. Like, you knew it. Like, he stole this play because it was very expensive. You could have gotten a lot for it. I don't think he stole it for those reasons, but for other reasons. But he stole it, replaced it with a forgery, and you got the forgery. It's not the one. You have a play you have to destroy. And you cannot let those people let that play go into the future, because it makes things worse.
So I think maybe something's going to happen. What is he's just going to out of his leather coat, his strangely nice looking leather coat. He's going to pull out the newspaper. And he says, "Well, as fortune would have it, I think we're going to get another chance at it." And just sort of turn to the article, show it, and if this other me is as predictable as any other versions of me we've run into, he's going to try to take it out from under this one's nose. He's that arrogant, usually. I think we can head that off at the pass.
So,
with our luck, it's going to be as irritating as every version of you that we've run into as well. So we should also prepare for that.
Fair enough. Just stop him from talking. That's probably his his main weapon.
Now I know you've all seen this as a last resort, but seeing as now there are 3 Jacks or Gideons, at this point we have no choice but to silence him permanently. That is the only way to ensure that we
Wait.
bring the play properly out.
And John, you're sure this is the... It just seems really risky to take, like, Jack's essential. Are you sure?
Were they not going to kill you themselves just now? If you had not escaped, what would have happened?
They stabbed you with that dagger.
And we know how powerful that dagger is.
I'll admit I don't like to kill if it's not absolutely necessary, but I mean, that dagger does change the equation. This is survival we're talking about now.
And we know that,
much as I hate to say
knows
it,
how powerful this dagger is.
Okay. I trust you.
I still think they can be talked to. That I could be talked to. I don't want to believe that I'd be that focused, but I see that things have escalated to a point where unknowns are dangerous.
I mean, I guess I can always try to lift the knife off her if you really want to try going down that route.
Elaine's the one who stabbed me, so if we can, I mean, this, not you, the other, you know what I mean.
No, if you count the other time, technically, yes, I did stab you, but okay. You don't have to go back there.
I think it might be a good idea. Let's then try to separate the younger you, take the knife, talk to her. Because let me tell you, I was not worth talking to.
I mean, don't be too hard on yourself, but I do remember.
And it's risky, but I may be able to go ahead of you all and attempt to infiltrate their group. And I'm the only one who could without them knowing.
Just wear gloves.
I mean, it's unfortunate that it's come to this, but how many times can we send ourselves back to the past? I mean,
Good point. Good point.
at this point, we don't even know which of ourselves still want to save the past.
Yeah, do it. Just, I have a feeling that the version of me that's come back will probably be keeping a pretty close eye on you. So be cautious.
I think you can pull it off. So it's time for us to play a little 3-card Monte.
It's always been my favorite trick.
Does John leave to go and infiltrate the other group? Does he leave this group in the warehouse? Their safe house?
I don't believe he does.
Then we have two things to do before we close for this evening. Maybe three things. Let's start with thing number one. At the Greek Theater, Gideon Fox is there, preparing for his show. And there's a knock on his dressing room door. It's a little bit of montage, a little montage. Good old Gideon Fox. the door opens, and it's someone you have not seen in a little bit of time. It's Aura.
Am I tattooed or am I not? Okay.
You are. You are tattooed, frosted tips with little red. Like, you are that Gideon Fox. You are the Gideon Fox from this timeline, which has diverged just a tad. So now you're not exactly the same Gideon Fox of our Jack's moment.
Okay. Can I grab one item?
Please do. Please do.
It'll just be a sec.
Please do. Oh, I am ready for it. While he's doing that, our team, our heroes, they are in that apartment knowing that you've got Gideon Fox doing a show, and probably he has the play. What are you gonna do, y'all?
Let's get tickets. I mean, I'm just going to throw this out there. Social media managers love clicks, and me and Gideon are not on good terms. So I'm going to reach out to their manager and see if I can get a little entrance in there to cause a scene.
This is the home party being like, we're going to get into that show.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, yeah.
Yeah, I think also Elaine wants to figure out the plan, right? Because so much of this is like, we know that Gideon does shows when he's doing a heist. So what is the heist and what's actually going to happen? And I think she's going to do some research as to like, where's the where's the play supposed to be right now, knowing that Jack has said that like he's going to try to trap us. Now that I know there's another us, Elaine is just like super focused and going to gather some clues, I think.
Yeah. And so as we're going to kind of like sunset this scene as our hero teamers, like, let's do research. Let's figure out a plan and get ourselves advantages. Yeah. They're like, we're not going to run off half-cocked. We're going to actually like set ourselves up for success. In the Greek theater, there's Aura standing there in front of Gideon Fox. Gideon?
Well, isn't this a surprise? Oh. What are you doing here? You know that I'm good. I've got a stage manager at this point.
I'm sure you do.
Have you done? Have you get? You're supposed to be getting some reading in right now, are you not?
I read it, and I saw the sign everywhere. I want the play.
Okay.
I want you to give me the play. Not a photocopy. I want the actual manuscript.
Well, you see, that's going to be a little difficult because I've kind of got plans for it.
Gideon, you cannot do what you're planning to do tonight at the show. You can't. I thought it was a good idea to stage the play as part of your magic show, but you can't do it.
But I can. Got everything in place. Everyone knows their parts. I really need you to see the big picture here. This
Jack.
is going to be monumental.
I regret...
Really?
When you... We'll see about that. And she walks out, leaving Gideon Fox in his dressing room by himself What does he do or say or think in this moment?
And she's sort of stepping away. Have I heard about what happened with the Carcosa dig or no?
Yes, it's in the news. I'm sure you've been paying attention. You knew that she was down there to just go and help out with your project because you'd sent her, she was down there to help you out with the project, but then she was still kind of mad at you, but you hadn't heard from her back since then. And then you hear about the explosion. It's not good. Doesn't help. If you do it right, everyone will know. Everyone will know. If you do it right. You have so many people coming to the show tonight. It's going to be televised. It's going to be online. If you do it, can you imagine?
I think he's going to be like, just watches her go, and he just kind of blinks for a second, shakes his head. It's like, well, that I did not foresee. Well, that sucks. That really sucks. I thought she was better than that. I really did. And I go and I pick up the inside line on the theater. Hey, security, we need to. I need to put your eyes on somebody.
And as Gideon says that, you can see the mirror in the dressing room, and there's like a little scrap of paper sort of stuck in the mirror, and it's of the yellow sign. And then one last thing. Dark Goth heroes in the warehouse without John. You're there waiting for John John's going to do the thing. John's going to do the infiltration. It's okay. It's good. Like, there's a plan. Go in there, maybe kill them. You don't need to talk to them. Right? It's fine. It's fine. You hear something. A thump. In the back of the warehouse.
I assume Dark Goth Elaine, because I'll just call Dark Goth Elaine, is professoring. And so I think I give
She gave people bad grades.
I give a look to Goth Jack, and I move to like rock, paper, scissors.
And he's like, please, I'm on it. And he vanishes.
Just
okay.
Not even a puff of smoke.
A little
it's just
shadowy
shadows.
cloud.
Yep. Because again, dark heroes, awesome powers. Your shadow slides across the floor of this sort of oily, floored warehouse until you get to the source of the sound. It's a crate. Something is inside the crate, thumping to get out. Something heavy. It's a large crate.
Okay. I think actually I'll then reappear after a moment and just sort of come back. Seems we have a, well, stowaway is not exactly the right word, but someone seems to be tucked away in one of the crates back there. He's going to say to Hayley, shall we go have a look-see?
Yes. And I think we don't even check in with Elaine. Like, I think we just go.
Because Elaine's got her computer on.
And I think, Hayley has the gun that she had.
Maybe a knife. I don't know. She's probably got stuff,
Yeah, I assume there's probably a knife on the thigh and like big sunglasses again, all that. That was Jack.
Yeah, sort of head over, pick up a crowbar on the way over, just check to see my row of knives that I have on the inside of the jacket.
Yes,
sort of,
I appreciate this very much, by the way.
Here, let me dig deeper.
Yeah, I'm into it. Somebody has a goatee. It just happens.
Yeah. Yes. And just sort of, as we get over, just sort of like, just sort of with crowbar, I'm like, you want to do the honors or shall I?
I think Haley just sticks her hands underneath it and just like pulls it off with like the really long naily fingers. Yeah. Yeah.
And in the crate, surrounded by, it looks like, you probably have to ask Elaine for this, but it looks to you like probably like chloroform, some sort of like drugs that keep people knocked unconscious, but no longer unconscious, is John.
Goth John?
Mm-hmm.
Cyber John? Cybernetic John?
Cyber John. Yeah, Cybernetic John, Goth John. Yep. Now that you come to think of it, you know you're the John that just left here, that just left? You don't recall seeing him use his cybernetic arm recently.
Oh, crap.
Did we, the more experienced time travelers, just get time fooled?
Not surprised by anything anymore.
And in the apartment, our John wakes up. And that's what we're going to call it for the evening. It's time to wake John.
I'm so excited.
That's
gonna be awful.
We're going to have our big confrontation. Yeah. Oh. So, first off, as we're doing our outro, because we're doing our outros, I just want you to know, if you have any ideas for the title for this episode, just let me know. Put it in chat. We'll pay attention. I want to thank my players, first and foremost, for playing multiple versions of themselves. The home timeline heroes, the dark goth heroes, and Jerky Kitty and Fox, who's from this timeline, and a mysterious John, who's from somewhere else, who's just visiting. You know, he's from Carcosa, is what it is. Carcosa John, who's here for reasons. And I would like to thank each one of you for doing such a good job of portraying your different selves so well. That was brilliant and lovely. So I want to also thank chat for being here. And thank you, chat. By the way, whoever donated those 5 subs, that gave them that fate point that allowed them to get our John back, not the other John, or some, like, you got the right John back without a lot of corruption, which is too bad. But you know, it's fine. So thank you so much, chat, for all of your support. Thank you for the Bane that let me do all of that business. You all are amazing. And so, without further ado, I would love it if my most wondrous players who are the best ever would tell me who they are, where we can find you, give some love to somebody else in the show, and then tell me, you know, and you can pick whichever person you want, whichever of your characters you wish. What is the one thing that you must do before the show tonight? And you can answer as whomever of yourself you want, because there are, you know, you have choices, and I'm going to make my notes. Now, I want to start with the amazing John, Wild Engineer, with the quick costume change, who's brilliant. If you would, who are you? Where can we find you? And if you would not mind, some love. And then what is the one thing one of your Johns must do before the show?
Yes, hello, I am Wild, at Wild Engineer on Twitch and Twitter. You can find me, aside from here, on Wednesdays on Open for Adventure in the mornings, where we play some Uncaged. and also on a podcast powered by the players, where we are currently going through Crossroads Carnival. It's a fun little Depression era kind of game. No, not sad or scary at all.
No. Probably way less time travel.
I would like definitely. I would like to give some love to not Jack, but Gideon for
Yeah. Gideon.
For setting us up for God, who knows what now. My Lord. And one thing that I need to do before we make it to the play is get something to eat, because I'm just so hungry.
Don't even worry about it. It's not even worrisome. Or is it? Speaking of ravenous hunger, I feel like Jackie Dash has a lot of protein powders and shakes in the house to feed any kind of ravenous hunger. And so let me throw it over to you.
Hi, I'm Jackie Dash, JAKIDASH. You can find me on the Twitch and Twitter by that name. I'm having a hoot and a half. This is great. Trying to remember all the instructions I got. Monday Fun Days, I play long form RPGs, so hit me up on 7 p.m. if you want to learn more about Final Fantasy 13. What else? And the show.
Do you still get people throat punches? When they join the cult, they still get throat punches?
They get a punch party, yeah. We have punch.
Yeah,
we share
nice.
it all. It's great. What else? Oh yeah. Gotta give some major shout out. Steph, I love that Elaine was really compassionate and empathetic, which is not, I think, something that she's growing into. She's always had it, but being able to see that side as well has been really, really cool. What is
also the epic save?
Yeah. Thank God time travelers get CPR training. And the thing that Hayley has to do to prepare is, of course, gotta tag the location with a great selfie. So she has gotten like a nice enough outfit. She's taken a picture on a green screen, and she's currently right now with her MacBook, just like photoshopping away the new eyes. Just 'cause she's not ready to bring that up yet.
Speaking of people who might need to Photoshop eyes, Sour Fruit Junkie, who are you? Where can we find you? Give some love, and tell me the one thing that one of your characters has to do before the play.
Oh, I have a good one. Oh, I'm so excited. Okay, hi, I'm Steph, pronoun she, her. You can find me at Sour Fruit Junkie on Twitter. I tend to post pictures of my snakes and a snake and draw lots of monsters, and that's me, and I really enjoy doing that. Give some love. Claudia, you're amazing. I just love how much of a gremlin tall Hayley is, and just trying to be like, I'm with my friends, sort of. Oh no, and just like, it's very wonderful how you're just rolling with the punches. It's like really amazing to watch. Really appreciate being able to play with you. It's great. The thing one of my selves has to do is gonna send a message to herself. I'm just gonna name it like Goth Elaine's gonna send a message to present home Elaine, because why not? Shenanigans.
Right, you can probably do it with DMs and whatnot, right? You know, you can do it. Speaking about some time shenanigans, I feel like at the moment now, I'm just for the record, this is important to note. I by the way, Jim, I should just give you a fate point. By the way, I'm just gonna give you one. I feel like I'm just gonna hand one to you right now. Because your trouble aspect is that you have that your other self is a bit problematic for you, and so your other self has been problematic, and just there's that fate point for you, because there you go. But speaking of people who have some time shenanigans, other Doc, who are you? Where can we find you? Give some love, and what is one thing that one of your characters has to do before the play starts?
So yes, thanks once again. I'm my God, this was good. I'm Jim Ryan. I am a writer, streamer, and podcaster at various times in my life. I am OtherDoc, OTHERDOC, on both Twitch and Twitter, and I am primarily, let's see, when in the streaming stuff that I'm doing right now on Sunday afternoons when we're all available on my channel. Which is also OtherDoc, OTHERDOC. We do Dark Matter, which is fantasy in space. And on Tuesday nights, I am running a short campaign of Urban Shadows set in present-day Rome, Italy. I also actually have signups that I've opened for a short campaign coming up on my channel of Scum and Villainy. That's going to happen. My friend Brian, who's been on the channel a few times before, ran our Sprawl game last year, is going to be running that for us. So anyone who's interested in that, you can go to my website, jimmyyesthatjim.com, and click on Game Sign Up, or you can find it on my Twitter if you so desire. And them's the plugs. Yeah, this thing was so good. I once again, because I feel I always feel like I have to give props to everybody, because I'm just kind of I have various psychological issues that sometimes require it, but I do want to say I loved how everyone was with their alternate selves. Wild's costume change that helped start rolling the boulder down the hill of costume changing. That because as Trooper knows from a previous campaign with me, once someone breaks that out, then I have to respond. It's the only way. But
I love Gideon. I love Gideon.
But but no, Wild, awesome. Just seeing that and just suddenly becoming this much more alien version of himself. It's very cool to see that. I've got to give props to Jackie Dash for just the whole switching back and forth, hopping back and forth between selves, and the line, "Don't get back tattoos because you're going to have something done eventually." And also, of course, our Fruit Junkie for just the one. Just being wonderful in general, but also that resuscitation scene, and just that sort of hitting in my mind. Not again, not like this. Just seeing everything that Elaine's been going through is just like madness. But this session, I want to give the specific award to Trooper for just bouncing us so back and forth so wonderfully and evilly between our various selves, and just sort of juggling it all into a session, and it is sheer madness, and I love it. And I'm very much looking forward to what's in store.
Speaking of sheer madness, it is I, Trooper SJP.
Oh.
I just want to say,
did I say what he's thinking? I'm sorry.
Yes, please. I have to know.
My apologies.
One of your three. One of my three.
I'm going to say that Gideon Fox is thinking, I'm going to have to make sure to be extra careful and coordinate with my double, with the doubles that I'm using tonight, so that we can be sure we're going to bring down the house.
I'm so excited. And I just can't hide it. And I'm about to lose control, and I think I like it. I want to say, I'm Trooper SJP. You can find me at Trooper SJP on Twitch. I run a show on Saturdays, Fridays at 7 p.m. Eastern. City of Light and Shadow, a Fate French Resistance campaign. You can find me a bunch of other channels, other things. If you go to my Twitch channel, you can find my schedule. And I'm on Academic Foxhole at Twitter. But here's what I want to say. This is the thing. I hope this particular timeline conundrum is a bit clearer. There are just a couple of people who are spoilers. There's some people who are spoilers, who have other agenda and want to mess things up. But love, one, Sorry for it, Junkie. I love that moment when Dark Elaine is like, I don't know if we should kill them. like maybe we should talk to them. And it's a way in which it felt very much like, dark Elaine, but is still Elaine, right? Like in some ways, like the core of themselves are still there. And I loved how, I mean, first off, your recitation team was amazing. The emotion there and the ways in which dark Elaine was like, hold on though, wait a minute. I feel like maybe we could have a conversation about this. Like maybe they will agree not like to destroy the play. Like maybe it'll be okay. I love that. It was really good. And I love how what that's going to set up. Jackie Dash. Hey, guess what about Hayley? So interesting. So Hayley does not have a past version of herself because Hayley's here, but Elaine does. Elaine has a past version of herself that it does exist that we have seen briefly. Who knows if she'll show up again? We don't know. But how that's interesting. Right now she's probably doing some work, archival work. I'm sure it's fine. But Hayley, first off, so Jackie Dash, your descriptions are so amazing. Just like your hereditary crawl out the window, amazing. Your concession so you could get out of there, amazing. I loved also like that you're like, I'm gonna try to intimidate you to try to like that you had a thing. Like I love that you're like, we have things we were trying to do. I love the way in which everybody did their dark selves. I loved also the way that you came back to Bloody Hayley and trying to deal with like, you had a very traumatic experience. Somebody almost murdered you with a knife in the future. It's very traumatic, and you dealt with that trauma, and then you're like, I'm fine. Protein, like they're just the way in which that was brilliant. Jim, Gideon Fox is the best worst ever. I just need you to know that, and I love Gideon Fox. Love it. So so much. Also, Gideon Fox totally got Aura into the King in Yellow, and I just feel like got her all into that meme. Blame Gideon Fox for that business. So brilliant. And I want to thank you so much, Wild, for being Carcosa John at the drop of a hat. You were so brilliant. Your sermon was amazing. And I feel that you are dedicated to helping bring back Carcosa and restoring lost Carcosa. And I know that you will do that for the King in Yellow. I know you will. I believe in you. And I appreciate that. And I want to thank my biggest shout out, my biggest love is to Lydia, who was the mod extraordinaire and took care of people as mods take care of people. So thank you so much for making this a safe space and a comfortable space, not just for us, but also the people in chat. So thank you. And with that, I will say, we have two different groups of heroes, goth heroes and less goth heroes, converging upon a show, and we're going to see what happens. And we have things happening, and we're going to do a raid. We are going to raid Stella Luna, who is a member of our cast for Black Void Into Oblivious Depths, and she's playing Baldur's Gate 3 right now. And if you could give her some love, we're going to give a raid, give her some love, shout out some haze, and take care of yourselves. And next session 5, big confrontation. That's it, everybody. Take care.
These are the tales we weave. Tales of magic. Tales of mystery. Tales exploring the beyond. And while we continue to grow, even more adventures await. In the depths of the unknown. Will you join us in the telling?